Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to
Everything Entertainment.
So, sis, you are up first this week. What do you have?
So, I want to talk about a show that I watched on CBS. Now, I've talked about High Potential.
Okay, yeah.
I have talked about Matlock. Just talked about Matlock last week. And now I want to talk about another show that is good, but not as good as Matlock and High Potential. Okay. But it's like a combination. Okay. It's like somebody put a storyline out and everybody copied it, basically. Oh. So this show is about a lawyer. And she is supposed to be making sure that the truth of every investigation with police, like police investigations, is put out with the truth. Mm-hmm. No confusion, no partial,
no bias.
Yeah. But then also it's like no, everything has to be tied into a pretty bow. So therefore, if somebody's like, "Yeah, I did it," but they didn't put out exactly how they went through it, then no, that's not a full investigation because we don't know if this person is telling the truth. So
they just want some, claim.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So she was doing this, and she has been put in charge of this because they were having issues with lawsuits. Okay. For what is it called? Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the show? Are you I'm leading up
to it. Okay. But for unlawful arrest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she is under the conduct decree, I believe it is what she's part of. Okay. So basically the government just wants her to keep an eye on the operations of the police department. Due to the unlawful arrest in the lawsuits. Now, she is a woman who is from the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Kind of reminds you of like Rose from the Golden Girls. Okay. Like she's just, oh man, I'm here because she has to go to New York. So she's like, oh man, I'm here and I'm enjoying it. She gets on the double-decker bus that, somebody is rapping while they're giving the tour of different places of New York. And she's like, oh, this is my stop. Now she has on the big foam Statue of Liberty, little headdress on and stuff like that, and she gets off at the police station. Well, actually, at the police station, she gets off at a crime scene.
I think I know which show this is.
Yeah. I'm getting to it. So she gets off at the crime scene, and when she does, they go up to, she goes up to people and she's like, hey, she taps actually on one police officer's shoulder and is like, hey, I'm here, I'm part of the thingy thing. And the lady's like, what is the thingy thing?
Right, exactly.
She was like, the conduct decree.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, I'm part of that. She was like, because of all the lawsuits and blah, 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 blah. And so then the other lady's like, so does the chief know that you're here? She was like, oh, no. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to be happy to see me. And she's like, yeah. I don't think he will be. Walks her into the whole crime scene. She's like, "Oh, I've never seen a crime scene like this before. I've only seen it in pictures." So she's all invested into it. Now she's in the middle of this crime scene. Only one person knows her name. Okay. So everybody's like, who is this lady? Ma'am, can you be in the hallway? Can you step outside? Yeah, this is a crime scene.
Mess up something.
So she ends up introducing herself. She is Elsbeth. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Here we go with the names.
I know.
But yeah, Elsbeth, can I just say while you're looking that up? So Elsbeth from...
Claws.
What?
Elsbeth.
The Good Fight?
The Good Fight? I've never watched The Good Fight, but she's on Claws.
God, yes. She's Elsbeth from The Good Fight.
Oh, so this is a spinoff.
Yes. That's what I thought you were leading up to.
No, I didn't know it was a spinoff.
Child. All right, let me look it up just to make sure I'm not losing my mind.
So Elsbeth Tassioni is her name. Now, that's played by Carrie Peterson. The police officer that she tapped on the shoulder when she first got to New York is Kara Patterson, who plays Officer Kaya Blank. You have Wendell Pierce, who plays Captain C.W. Wagner. You have the Lieutenant Noonan, who is played by Frederick Lene. Molly Price is also in it as Detective Donnelly. I'm trying to think about. You have Gloria Rubin, who plays the wife of Captain C.W. Wagner. So you have her playing Claudia Payne. Let me see who else is on here that's like that you would really know. But see, the thing is like every episode is a different celebrity that comes on to it.
Gotcha.
Now these might not all be A-list celebrities. Like you're not going to see like Tom Hanks.
Okay.
In one, but these are all actors that you've seen on TV or been on movies or anything like that. So yeah, this is just basically her going around and observing the police investigations while she is also now doing her own investigation. Yeah. So basically it would be a number one hit for me if I had not already seen Matlock and High Potential, because the three of these were written similar, but I think that they were written a little bit better than Elsbeth. Now, so at the beginning of Elsbeth, you find out the killer, you see everything that happened. And then now you're just watching her work through all the motions to find the killer, where at Matlock and High Potential, you're doing the crime investigation together. You as a watcher and also the person who is, if it's Madeline Matlock or if it's Morgan. So either way, you were part of the show. With this, you're not really part of the show, and I think that's what takes away from it, because you already know who the killer is. You already know how it happened. You watch that. That's the first scenes. Is the murder.
Oh, so you know what happened.
Yeah, as soon as it comes on, it goes straight into what happened with the murder. Oh. And then it goes into her finding out.
You see who the murderer is?
Yeah, you see everything. You see the murder happen. Yeah.
It's the unfolding of how they figure it out.
Yeah.
If you're really interested in figuring that part out.
If you want to do the unfolding, yes. But I will tell you this: when it comes to me basically talking about like her and Morgan and High Potential, both can go to crime scenes and see things and be like, that's not right.
Yeah. But
the only thing is, Morgan will go to a crime scene. Morgan from High Potential, she will go to a crime scene and she will see things, but they just stand out to her. She just walks into a scene and then she can see things. Right. It's not like it's anything that she is actually looking for. Where Elsbeth goes into a crime scene and she is actually looking for things. And then with Matlock and Elsbeth have this common similarity where they both use their, basically both use what people would discriminate them as their key to go ahead and be able to unlock some information. Yep. So Madeline Matlock using her being an old lady and, I'm just a sweet old lady and I don't really know anything and blah, 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 blah. And people just opening up to her, where Elsbeth she just befriends these people and they're just like, you were getting on my nerves. But she's always
been annoying. Yeah. She was on The Good Wife. She was on The Good Fight. Okay. And she was always that quirky person who would come in and kind of get on your nerves and get under your skin. But she was super, super smart and amazing lawyer. An amazing lawyer. Yeah.
So now, the one thing that she did say that she liked was that she no longer she said she would be able to look into somebody's eyes and tell if they were guilty. She said she no longer has to lie to the world. So she's liking this because her whole job now is the truth. So she is now finding the truth out about every investigation as her being a lawyer. So she knows all the laws, the things she can't do, things she can do, and all of that. Yeah. So that's how she is helping. Now, I will say that I do like how, they have the things together where all three of those TV shows all can, how do I say this? They can all draw you in.
Okay.
But I feel like for me, Elsbeth couldn't keep me in. It couldn't keep me locked in.
But that's because you saw the other ones first.
Well, I don't know, but no,
I don't even know. But I think you're not into the genre of knowing who the killer is in advance either.
Yeah, it's like what's the point of me knowing who did it and then me just going through the motions of finding out the stuff? Like, I feel like the whole point of a show like that is to be able to
But I think it's a different concept. I think that's it. I think it's like, ooh, we're getting to see who it is and then how everything comes into play. And, ooh, they were so close to figuring it out. And then they went down this old other path and da-da-da-da. You know, so I think there's some people who that'll speak to because they're like, I've never seen anything like this before. And this is a pretty cool concept.
I feel like if the concept would work if it was multiple episodes that you were trying to find one killer or something like that. But the one thing that all three of them do have in common is that they all are investigating things while they're doing their own investigations.
Oh, okay.
So Matlock, she's doing her own investigation about some stuff with her family. Mm-hmm. Morgan is doing an investigation about her baby daddy. Mm. And Elsbeth is doing an investigation about the police officers. Mm. Not police officers, but the... she's basically like being like an internal affairs for a couple of different police officers and where their money's coming from and things like that. So all three of them do have that. I just feel like this one, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not a CBSer. I don't know, but I feel like it's not giving. It's just not giving. Like I wanted to. It's not because you know who it is. And because she's always talking to the people, is it that she's always talking to the killer and like her thing is, I know you're the killer, but now I have to figure it out? Like, but
maybe that's intriguing to people. Like, ooh, how did like? Does she know, or is she's
still trying to figure it out? Yeah,
or is it that she has no clue? She just thinks this is somebody to talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So maybe that is intriguing to people. I don't know. I'm gonna look at one episode.
Yeah, look at you've talked about look at the first episode.
Look at the first episode and see
look at the first episode of all three.
I don't know if I'm gonna commit to all that. I don't know if I'm gonna commit to all that.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying because you'll see the difference. You'll see how, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me that it's. I feel like the other two episodes. The other two shows are more.
I will commit to watching the first episode of all three, and then I will make my conclusion and remind me to speak of it in our next podcast episode.
I probably won't, but okay.
I probably will forget to.
Okay. All right. But yeah, all in all, it is a good show. I'm not saying that it's not a good show. It is a good show. Definitely watch it. I'm just saying that the only thing is that it to me is not as good as two other shows that are already out with the same kind of concept. So I feel like it would be probably Matlock, Hot Potential, and then Elsbeth.
Okay.
Yes. So that's all I had. Elsbeth, and you can watch it on CBS or Paramount or
Paramount Plus,
Paramount Plus.
And Amazon. I guess you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's what I had.
Well, cool. So I have a CBS show.
Oh, okay.
that I'm talking about, or Paramount Plus, depending on how you want to look at it, called Watson.
See, and I said I was going to talk about Watson. I was going to watch Watson today and talk about it. And then I was like, no, because I saw the trailer and it does not look appeasing to me.
Okay, so you're not a CBS person then.
I'm definitely not a CBS person.
Yeah, for me, let me just say this. I personally am going to watch it because...
Only because of the cast.
It's Morris Chestnut. So Morris Chestnut is in it, and for those of you who have listened to our podcast for a while, you already know that my boyfriend will ask me, when he's cooking on the grill and he's making hot dogs, do you want a Morris Chestnut? Mm-hmm. Dark and lovely?
Not dark and lovely.
He doesn't say the dark and lovely part. But do you want a Morris Chestnut or do you want a Boris Kojo?
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, babe, go ahead and make me that Morris Chestnut if you don't mind. I'm always going to probably choose Morris. But anyway, so yes, dark and lovely, Morris Chestnut, my boo on the down low. He is in here. And it also has a cast of a few people, one of which it took me a second to put together where I knew this guy's face from. So so you have Morris Chestnut playing John Watson, because it's like Sherlock Holmes and Watson. And then you have Peter Mark Kendall plays Dr. Stevens and his twin brother that I can't even remember his name right now. But he plays two parts, which is pretty cool. Oh, okay. But he is from The Boys, the main character from The Boys, whose girlfriend dies at the very beginning. And I was like, why do I know his face? And then I was like,
is that's him or his twin brother?
It's him.
It's him, okay.
But he's playing both parts.
He has a twin brother in this. Okay, in this show.
He has a twin brother in the show, so I think he's playing both parts.
Okay.
At least when I Googled it, that's what they said. You have Eve Harlow as Ingrid. You have Rochelle Aites as Mary. You have Inga Shingelman as Sasha and Richie Coster as Shinwell. So basically how this starts is that you have, I was going to say Morris, you have Watson running through the woods and he's tripping and da-da-da-da-da and he's going.
I did see that.
He sees Sherlock Holmes on the edge of a cliff, I don't know.
No, this is New Age. This is not New Age. This is not back in Jack the Ripper times.
No. This is New Age, and this is not related to, as far as I can tell, anything even of Sherlock Holmes with like Robert Downey Jr.
So it's just all its own entity.
Sherlock, right? Exactly. And so he sees Sherlock, and he's like, Sherlock or Holmes.
Yeah,
That's what he
Holmes.
says. Right? Not Sherlock. Holmes. And so anyway, him and the guy he was struggling with both fall into the water. So then you have Watson who jumps into the water. And so he's trying to save them, save at least Holmes. But he ends up going in a different direction, hitting his head. And he could see Holmes going in a whole different direction of the ocean while he goes over a waterfall. So when he goes over the waterfall, hits his head, he wakes up, he's in the hospital. And you have Shinwell, who is like talking to him. And at first I thought Shinwell was Holmes. I was like, oh, Holmes has been hanging out waiting for him to wake up, because he has an accent and all that kind of stuff, like a little bit. And so, but no, it was not. He unfortunately Shinwell told Watson that Holmes didn't make it. Like Holmes and Mortimer, I think is the guy who is.
Moriarty.
Thank you, Moriarty.
And I know that only from the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock
Oh,
Holmes.
gotcha. Moriarty. So now Moriarty is a person whose two middle fingers on this show, I don't know because I never watched the Sherlock Holmes, they're fused together.
Okay.
So
he's like a penguin.
Yeah. And so what happens is that that's one thing that Sherlock remembered was that he said, for some reason, I was kind of close to the other guy and I just could remember seeing him floating and his middle fingers were like infused together. It's kind of weird. And so as he's waking up with the bandage on his head, he remembers some things, doesn't remember everything.
This is Watson or Holmes?
It's Watson.
Watson, okay.
Yes, because what Shinwell tells Watson is that Holmes is dead. Holmes didn't make it. And what's the guy named Moriarty didn't make it. So
Moriarty.
Moriarty.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but I mean, it's Moriarty.
I'll just say Maury.
Okay.
Maury didn't make it. So anyway, what ends up happening in the first episode is that you have Watson trying to just recover to initially begin and process the fact that his dear friend is gone. And what Holmes does is he leaves all this money behind. And the money he wants to be put into Watson getting back into his practice and opening a clinic so that way he can take care of people. So he gets out, present day, he goes to this clinic, and the whole show is about cases of people being sick at this clinic and them trying to figure out what's going on with the person. Because it's all weird things. Almost like, remember when you would watch House? And it was always something weird that would happen. And then House had to like think about it. Oh no, it's this and this.
It's like 911 as well.
Yeah, it's the rarest thing that ever could have happened in the history of rarity, right? And then that's what ends up happening. So in this instance, it starts with this young woman. She's there, she's pregnant, she's going off because as she's looking at the ultrasound of her stomach, she feels like she sees the baby morphing into this little monster in her stomach. So she's like looking at it, and then she looks at the woman, and the woman's like, is everything okay? And the woman's face starts looking all blue.
Oh, she drugged up.
And so then she's like, oh my gosh. So she runs outside, and then the lady outside is like, can I help you? And her face is blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, that's all I can think of to say, because nobody can see me. They have to hear me say something. So, and then she ends up running across the street, gets hit by a car. You're like, oh my gosh, like, is she okay? Is the baby okay? Like all of that. So she wakes up in the hospital, and you start seeing that she's having all these weird symptoms. Like she starts getting blisters around her mouth. She can't sleep for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Like it's all these different things that are going on. And because of the fact that she is going through all of this, she ends up at Watson's care so that they can figure out what's going on. Now, Watson, he has this whole group of people, which is the guy from The Boys and his twin brother, who they don't seem to be able to stand each other because, weirdly enough, one brother is dating the ex of the other brother right now. Okay. So that's a thing. He was like, well, that girl got a type. I know, right? He definitely has a type. And they're like, well, that's your fault. Like, hello. And so they make him look a little different. Like, one will have glasses on, the other one will not. And then, it's like, one is called Stevens. And they make that a joke because it's like, oh, yes, this is like basically Watson's like, I'm not calling you Stevens. You're one person. So I'm not putting the S on the end. So you're Steven, Yeah. And then they're like, or Stevens is doing this, and it's just like, it's too much. So anyway, so it's been like a little bit of a running joke. I don't know if it'll be in every episode, but I watched 2 and Stevens' name came up both times. So what is funny to me about this that is like the typical CBS drama is that it is very like, well, we're going to follow the procedures of the such and such and such, and the da-da-da-da-da, and what do you think? And then they're like, well, I think the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like that whole thing. It reminds me exactly like every other show that I've seen on CBS where it's like a collective of minds and a think tank that it's like, well, we have to look into this. Well, then let's go ahead and look into that. And it just doesn't even sound authentic. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like, here's an example, right?
History. See if you can bring us back something interesting.
Oh, wait, maybe I'm a little too far ahead. Hold on.
Sasha, Ingrid, what test would you suggest we run?
An MRI, blood work to check for B12 deficiency. An FTG PET to test for a decrease in glucose utilization.
You see what I'm saying?
That sounds like House.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, it's very like, well, then so here's what you do. And this is what's going on. And this is what we do. And this happens and that happens. And it's like all, the weird.
All the brainstorming and everything.
Exactly. So, long story short, they are trying to figure out in each episode how these people are getting sick in the way in which they are getting sick and what's happening. So sometimes you're like, is this a pathogen that's just like launched out here, like a new COVID that's going on as to why you're sick and you're cutting them sick? Yeah. And then you end up finding out a whole bunch of things as to why that happened, right? And then you have the next, like every episode is just a new major thing that they have to figure out, but they lay in a little bit of a layering because his ex-wife works at the facility as like the head of the whole program. Okay. So when he wants to do things and go rogue, she's like, no, you have to answer to me. And he's like, but it's my clinic. You know what I mean? But she somehow is about, she was like, well, when you appointed me into this role to do X, Y, and Z, then therefore, right, exactly. This is my job, so I got to make sure it's not a book. She is, and he's like, well, then it goes into this whole thing of, well, if you just, stuck around while I, went through what I had to go through to kind of recover and get myself back, then we would still be together because they're not divorced yet. I think they're just separated. But then he goes to pick up some of his stuff and he's like, so who's here? Because like you cleaned off the coat rack and you did this and there's the whole other side of the garage is now clear. Like what? Who's here? And she was like, you don't know her. And he was like, oh. He was like, oh, okay, all right, okay. So anyway, so it's one of those things that you have a little bit of a, you almost would think that they're going to get together at some point. But then you're also like, nah, she keeps telling him over and over again, like, no, this is over. And the way that you treated me and chasing around all over the world with Sherlock, you never stayed home. You never, like, you and him were always solving this problem and doing this and doing that. And now because you had this injury, I'm supposed to be like, oh, I have to be the doting wife. No, you weren't even here. You were always gallivanting all over the world. So
gallivanting.
Hey, that's my word. So anyway, I do like the fact that it's some weird scenarios that come up that are pretty cool to figure out, like, oh, this is something that's a real thing that people can get and you could get sick from. So that part is pretty cool. Looking at Morris is pretty cool.
Looking at Morris is pretty cool.
And he takes his shirt off. And I was like, oh, is this going to be on every episode? Because, yes, I'm here for it.
All right.
And I will watch the whole season. But
I will watch the whole season.
I mean, look, there is no shame in my game.
How old is Morris Chestnut?
54. I was going to say 5, but I'll look into that. Yes.
No, I was just wondering.
Yeah. No.
But he's a decent body. Does he have a body like Method Man?
Yeah, 56.
Okay. 56, okay.
Yeah, born in 16. Aw, just like my boo. No, he was born in 67.
Are you okay?
When was he born? Oh, well. Anyway, we'll delete that part. We'll edit that part out.
Shout out to Terry.
But anyway, you would think after almost, 15 years I would know, but I don't. Anywho, but yes, so that is Watson. It is on CBS. And there's another intriguing element to this at the end of the very first episode that had me like, what?
Okay.
And that's all I'll share. So that part I think will carry through the entire series, and it adds a whole other element to the show that I wasn't expecting. But you know. So,
well, I did not watch it because I watched a trailer for it, and he was like, well, we're doctors, but we do investigations. And I was like,
that's what I'm saying. That's the CBS piece to it, right?
I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch this.
It's just like when you would watch something, because wasn't that all of the like CSIs, and you would have CSI Miami, and what was the guy's name with the red hair? David Horatio, right? And he would just take off his glasses almost every episode. Yeah. And he would be like, take off his glasses.
Yeah, and say something witty, like a dad joke.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. And you're just like, really? Yeah. How corny can we get, right? So, but, people want to be gainfully employed as well. So I am not mad at it. So that is Watson on CBS. And so there you go. And what do you have?
There you go. There you go. All right. So what I have next is The Fabulous Four.
Okay.
All right, so this is something that you can watch also on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Now this is about four old friends, and I'm going to get into exactly who they are. So you have Susan Sarandon, who plays Lou. You have Bette Midler, who plays Marilyn. You have Megan Mullally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it's hard. All those L's. Megan Mullally, who plays Alice. Cheryl Lee Ralph plays Kitty. All right. Now, with this, so Bette Midler's character, Marilyn, she's getting married, and she wants her friends from college and her friends that she's met along the way, like within, I don't even know how long it's been quite a few years, to all come to it. So, they haven't seen each other and spent a lot of time together, so it's something that they are trying to come together and bring the girls back. Woo! Party time. Yes. So the only thing is Marilyn and Lou, the two best friends, are estranged right now. And it tells you exactly why in the movie. I'm not going to get into that. But see, now Alice, who is Megan Mullally's character, Alice is their friend, and she's a performing artist. So she's like a recording star.
Okay.
And she's always down for some fun. And then you have Kitty, who is Cheryl Lee Ralph's character, also down for fun because she is a herbal specialist. We'll call her that.
Okay.
She grows things
herbally
that you can make teas and tinctures and smoke. If you would
there
like.
There you go. I think we are picking up what you're putting down.
Right. So, she's down for a good time as well. But Lou is the person that they have to convince to go to Marilyn's wedding. Now, how does this work? It is tricky. So, Lou is a surgeon.
Okay.
Now, when the show first starts off, the movie first starts off, you do see her, talking or whatever, and then the head surgeon, what was it called? The chief, what is that called? The head surgeon? Like the chief, whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Chief of surgery,
there you go. So she sees one of her surgeons, who is an older male, and he's just not getting it right.
Okay.
So now they get Lou, Susan Sarandon's character, they get Lou to come in, hey, you got to swap out, because he's it's just not working. He's having an off day. She comes in, then the chief says, hey, you know what? I think we're going to put you on the leave. He was pretty upset about it. Mm-hmm. Now Susan Sarandon's like, oh man, now they're looking at me like, are they going to try to force me into retirement like they did with this doctor? So now she's getting all this stuff in her head. So she's like, oh no, I'm good to go. I'm here. I'm a team player. Like whenever you need me, I'll do this. I'll do that. And then she's like, okay. Cut to her friends are sitting at the table behind her. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, what's going on? What did they do to get her to go to the wedding? They tell her that because the wedding is in Key West.
Yeah.
Because Marilyn has retired down to Key West. So they tell her, hey, you know how you were always talking about, I think it was Hemingway? And she was like, oh, yeah. And it was like, well, there's a cat sanctuary down in Key West that we're going to. Oh, and it has all these pterodactyl cats or whatever. So it's all cats that have extra digits. Oh. Now, apparently Hemingway had cats that had extra digits. That was his kink. That was his thing. Oh, all of his cats had
extra cats.
Yeah.
Cats with extra.
Yeah. So now they have the Hemingway house down in Key West, where it's a bunch of stray cats that are there because Hemingway died, and then they just kept producing these kind of cats. I think it's called pterodactyl cats. Now, with all of this happening and trying to get the wedding together, so they show up to Maryland. Woo, yeah, we're here. And she looks over. She's like, oh my God, Lou, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so glad you're here. They hug and embrace. And Lou's like, why am I here? What are we doing? She was like, yeah, well, we came to see her, while we're going to see the cat. She was like, okay, well, I bought my carrier so I can get my cat. So when are we going to see the cats? And I was like, we're going to get to it. Mm-hmm. Marilyn then hands out little boxes to the ladies. And Lou's just like, I'm not opening this box. Like, I don't have nothing to do with that. Okay. I want these cats. I didn't come here to see Marilyn. We're still not talking. We're not on speaking terms. Mm-hmm. And when they open it up, it ends up being like confetti flying out of this little box and everything. And Marilyn's like, ooh, read it. So she tells Alice to read it. And Alice is like, please be my maid. She was like, oh, you're so funny. She was like, no, read the whole thing. And she was like, yeah, okay, yes, I will. I will be your maid. She was like, no, say it. And then she was like, I'll be your maid of honor. And then Lou is like, what? You're getting married again? Like your husband just died and blah, 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 blah. And that is a that's a whole thing. So it ends up being just the story about these friends trying to connect back together when they have drama, and then the drama keeps coming. But it's so many goofy, funny little like tidbits of parts that I thought was funny. I love that. I love watching older ladies get together, make a movie, and look like they're genuinely having fun. Like even some of the bloopers look like it would be genuine fun.
It would be fun to watch. What was the name of it again?
The name of it is The Fabulous Four.
Yes. Right.
So I like it. I think it's really cute. If you're into movies with some actors that you haven't seen in a while and their own movies. Like being the co-star main actress?
Main character?
Yeah, main character. Yeah. So I like seeing this because I haven't seen Bette Midler, Susan Sarandon. I haven't seen any of the four.
Yeah, in a long time.
And for them to have like they are the leading actresses.
Leading ladies.
Yeah. So I do love that. There is another one called Summer Camp. I'm gonna talk about that one next week, and that one also has older ladies who are doing their thing. Yeah. So I'll talk about that.
I'm glad we're seeing it because at one point, if you were over 40, you really couldn't act anymore.
Exactly.
Like, they just would make you like somebody's great grandmother.
Yeah. And then, they had talked about that on Grace and Frankie. So they made an episode about that when they were going to try to get a loan to pay for their toilet and they were like, no, we're not going to give
the uplift.
No, it was the Rise Up.
The Rise Up. Yes. That's right. The Rise Up toilet.
Yeah, but I
still think somebody needs to make that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pretty sure there is a toilet that's like that. It's probably just not in America. Exactly.
Yeah, it's in China.
Yeah, but it's like that because it was ageism for that episode, and it was like, man, when is it ever going to be where like they had like little snide remarks that they said in there. It's like, when is it ever going to be for us older ladies to be able to go out here and do what we need to do in the world and not be shut down. So I was like, that's kind of deep how they put that out there. 100%. But yes, check The Fabulous Four out. It is on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
What do you have next?
So I have Hillmantok.
Oh, there's some drama.
I know.
How we already got drama? It ain't even a real school, bro.
Well, I am going to first play the NBC news story about the original Hillmantok before the drama.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to play this, y'all. It's just going to go into the time that I have for, my few minutes or whatever.
Okay.
But I just feel like the whole story needs to play because initially I just feel like this was such a cool and good thing until it wasn't. Okay, but here we go.
All right.
Up if it would play the sound.
HBCU, with a student body of over 300,000. Welcome to Hillmantok University.
Hello, Hillmantok students. I am Professor Torre. Welcome to the prehistory of hip-hop.
Hi, my name is Dr. Isaacs, and welcome to Organic Chemistry 1.
Bonjour, chers étudiants de la Hillmantok University. I am Prof. Letty, your French teacher here.
Immigrants University is really a space where a lot of Black academics are coming together
To teach classes on just about everything, some 400 classes in all, offered by experts like Dr. Leah Barlow, who teaches at North Carolina A&T State University.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Introduction to African American Studies for the spring semester.
That post of hers back in January unintentionally sparked a movement.
So this was actually accidental. I posted something for my actual students in my course. I was just looking for a way to engage. But this launched something that is much bigger than me now.
In about a week, her class size for Intro to African American Studies grew from 35 students to almost 4 million.
This coming week, we'll be looking at Donald Glover's This Is America, the music video, and analyzing the lyrics of the song.
But Sierra Hinton really formalized Hillmantok.
Good morning, Hillmantok.
And she named it after the fictional Hillman College from the 80s sitcom A Different World.
I know my parents
Love me. Stand behind me, come what may.
I've always wanted to
jam.
go to Hillman.
And now she can, in lectures posted on TikTok.
We don't want to exclude education or information to anyone that is willing to learn from anyone that is willing to teach.
Hinton is a 6th grade teacher in Georgia, and after seeing Dr. Barlow's post, got to work immediately, linking all the courses through one website, even launching a school store.
The amount of people that said that they wanted to go to college, but for whatever reason, finances, life, I'm too old, that's no longer an issue here at Hillmantok.
While this is an unaccredited and totally symbolic social media university, it provides a free academic community with a network of Black educators. At a time when federal programs that promote diversity are being taken away.
I know that a lot of people are concerned with the state of our country, but as long as we as a people just lean on each other, that's all that we can do.
But there's still a lot of questions with the uncertainty of TikTok's future. Have you all spoken about how you can survive Hillmantok University if the platform of TikTok goes away?
Well, yes, I think the main thing has been to make sure that the information is posted in other places and not just on TikTok.
We have contingencies upon contingency.
Until then, class is in session.
Make sure you got your pen and your paper and you're ready to take notes.
All right, so that is basically the story of Hillmantok, which is pretty cool. And so at the end of this story, as the news analyst anchor, was talking to the other anchor, they were like, oh, there's some controversy already, I'm understanding. And it was like, yeah, they got something they're trying to work through. It somebody has basically stolen, hacked, maybe that's a better word, hacked the original site. And so therefore it became, all right, well, you hacked the site. It's got 380,000 followers. And that one now is hacked. So the other one they had to come up with was called the Hillmantok University. And somebody had mentioned previously in the original one, like, y'all need to trademark this, y'all need to, and I'm guessing that they did not, and therefore that's why, even though they were creating merch and a website and all of that, but now it's supposedly under the Hillmantok University, and it's rebuilding itself. So now it has 177,000 followers. But the other one is even still bigger. And you're having all this confusion because people are like, is this the right one? Is this the wrong? Like, which one is this? Where am I?
But it was some drama behind that because certain people were putting up posts and was like, I want to talk about blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, you can't use Hillmantok to just talk about your spiritual wellness, blah, 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 blah. This is blah, blah.
That was the thing I was trying to figure out. Yeah. How did you officially become a part of Hillmantok as an educator?
See, that's the thing. I don't think it was all people being educators. I think these are just people in general just going on there and just talking about different things. So there are different people who have a lot of followers who have been posting stuff about Hillmantok, and then that started a whole rumble there. So it started with one person being like, you can't use Hillmantok because this is this person's stuff when you're talking about your stuff. And then it was, no, the lady said I could use it. I'm doing proceeds towards this and blah, 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 blah. And like, this has nothing to do with you. Then the other lady comes in. So it's just so many people who just, it's just not organized. If it would have been like, if it would have been as soon as that lady had posted her stuff for her African American studies, which was actually for a class and not for TikTok
class.
If that would have been, okay, we jump on it right now and then we get people together, that would have been amazing.
Yes. Like we get other educators together and we all create a syllabus for people to learn X, Y, and Z and on then, some other, you know what would have actually worked better is talk about some of the things and hint to it in TikTok, but feed it over to a different platform, like the school platform, which is one where you can put modules and then be able to have where it's like, but you have to go over there and just make it like $1. Yeah. And then people could have just, because think about it, if they had just made it $1, they would have $300,000.
Exactly. But then how do you divvy that up between all of those people who are going to be teachers or that? Yeah. Out. But then I was thinking that we have the whole STEM part of TikTok. Why don't we just put it on the STEM part because that is still like learning, but not, even though it's not like mathematics or anything, but it is still learning.
I think it would have been fine if anybody who wanted to post something, I mean, because it's not an accredited university. It's not a real thing. It's a fake, as it says here, a fictional university that accidentally started a movement. And then they call it Panther Nation. So I don't know.
But then it's also like, but what's going to happen when the creators of Different World
I don't think that they, if they cared, they would have already said something a long time ago. And it's not, I mean, I don't know. I think that it was paying homage, as they say. So I think that they were like, oh, this is pretty cool because guess what? You talking about Hillmantok? I just made a whole bunch of residuals because guess what these young people are doing? Going to watch A Different World now. And I'm getting paid all the money from the residuals of that. So, I mean, I don't know if they would really care. But I will say that to me personally, it's a little frustrating that we can't have nothing. First and foremost. I mean, that's really frustrating. But secondly, it's like, if they had said, look, anything that you feel like you're posting that's educational, feel free to use, like it's not a real university, so just feel free to use the hashtag Hillmantok. And purchase the merch, get your sweatshirt on, acting like you went to a university, HBCU, this fictional one. Like, to me, that's fine. It's almost like how they talk about Black Twitter. So it's like, it's not a real thing. It's not like a whole other division of Twitter that's Black. It's just a part of things. So why couldn't it be like, oh, you can use hashtag Hillmantok and there you go. And
might as well just make it an app.
I mean, I don't know if it needs to even be that. I mean, yes, whatever it, excuse me, if they can get it off the platform into something else, that would be helpful. Platform, which they said it's on a website. But when I looked at that, I was like, it didn't seem as together as I would have probably assumed it could be for the modules. And then it could be, look, one person is the owner, which to me personally, it should be that original doctor who the thing is she wasn't even trying to do that. She was just trying to reach out to her class. So I don't even know if that's something that she wants to do. Right. So then let's say the Georgia teacher who did pull all that stuff together and made merch and did all of that, if she wants to be the beneficiary of all of that stuff because she did that, I don't even know if the original lady wanted her to do that. You know what I mean? Or feels okay that she ran off and did that as opposed to, is that part of the beef? Is that part of the drama?
I don't think that lady, the teacher, has anything to do with the beef or the drama.
Well, I just know that what was the original Hillmantok, now it's all her face on there. There's nobody else but her face on all the posts for but I just don't know if that means...
I was sorry. I wasn't thinking of her. I was thinking of the African-American Studies.
The African-American Studies teacher, not the one who created all the swag and website and all that kind of stuff. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, so I just don't know what the deal is, but Hillmantok.
Yeah, but Hillmantok next.
I just thought it was really interesting because it's a great concept of like camaraderie around like, oh, I didn't get to go to college, but I can pretend to be a part of this HBCU, and I learned about the history of hip hop, and I learned about organic chemistry, and I learned about the things that they won't teach you because they no longer want critical race theory in schools and blah blah blah. So that was kind of the part that I thought was cool. It's just unfortunate that someone hacked it.
Yeah,
and it's creating drama.
Hackers are bored. So
hackers be hacking.
Yeah, hackers be hacking.
So now, what do you have next?
All right, I got a couple of hot topics. All right, so Shonda Rhimes has resigned from treasurer of the Kennedy Center. Did you know that?
I didn't know she was.
Yeah, she was the treasurer for the Kennedy Center. She was on the board, and that's because she resigned because Donald Trump was elected the new chairman of the board.
Of course.
So she was like,
the Kennedy Center honors, isn't that what the president gives? Who gives out the awards for the Kennedy Center?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about the Kennedy Center. I just see like people sitting around with gold and rainbow on, and I'm like, how does nobody think this is gay? But I mean, I'm just saying. Okay. You want to talk about gay people, but then you want to wear rainbows and gold? Come on. So also with that, Issa Rae takes her step and cancels her appointment at the Kennedy Center that's supposed to be coming up next month. And when she does that, she does have a statement that she does say. Now the statement says, "Hey, DC fam, thank you so much for selling out the Kennedy Center for an evening with me, or evening with Issa. Unfortunately, due to what I believe to be an infringement on the values of an institution that has faithfully celebrated its artists from all backgrounds through all mediums, I decided to cancel my appearance. All tickets will be refunded. Thank you so much and see you soon. Love, Issa." So basically, they backed out of that. Now, also, there is footage from the Delta flight that flipped over in Canada runways. So it looks like when you look at it, it looks like the tires kind of skid on the snowy, icy surface, and that caused the tires to go. I don't know if the tires went back in or what.
No, the tires were still out after it flipped, but they said that it ended up making it wobble to the point that the wing hit the ground, and then it made it flip over.
Exactly. So it hit the wing on I think it was like the right side, and then that's what caused it to flip over. All of the fire and everything that people were freaking out about, what I believe was that engine that was attached to the wing that probably shot off. See a fire. Okay. Yeah. They as soon as it happened, they had the fire truck come out there and start hosing them down and everything.
But I just didn't see an actual spark of a fire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the video that I saw.
So that was some information, but also Delta is offering them a no strings attached. All 76 passengers. Wow. And I don't know about the other that are, because there should have been 4 people that were part of the staff on the plane as well. I don't know if they're getting the $30,000, I guess, offer or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, it's not for Delta. I think they're just saying, hey, here's $30,000.
Don't sue us.
Don't sue us. Yeah, basically.
I'll probably sue.
Yeah, well,
the thing is, it just more than $30,000.
But the thing is, it says no strings attached. Right,
no strings attached for them. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no strings attached. You can't come back later. You can't do anything. We're not going to come after you. You can't come after us. Blah blah blah. Like,
see, I think that the no strings attached is we'll give you the $30,000. Like, that would be like a settlement. If you don't want to take the $30,000, then you can sue.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to be a both or none,
No.
or
It would definitely be one or the other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I guess I'm just thinking that, like, that is traumatic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, therefore, 30,000 sounds kind of low.
Yeah.
Now, if they had said 300,000, then some people might be like, okay, I get that.
Yeah, exactly.
But 30,000? Like, come on now. Come on.
Very true. Another thing that happened is ASAP Rocky is found not guilty of firing a gun at his former friend in 2021, ASAP Relly. So Rocky was offered. Yeah, supposedly there was a argument that happened. You could see it from the camera, but they're saying that ASAP Rocky shot the dude, but he didn't.
Wait, so was the dude shot?
The dude was shot.
But it wasn't ASAP.
It was not him. It was not ASAP Rocky. ASAP is a whole crew. So everybody is ASAP something. So you have ASAP Rocky, ASAP Ferg, ASAP Relly. It's a whole bunch of ASAPs.
I did not know this.
Yes. ASAP is a crew. Yeah, ASAP Rocky is the one who made it, and then Ferg followed him.
Okay, and so they're saying ASAP shot him, but not that ASAP shot him.
No, they're saying ASAP Rock. They're saying that they were trying to say that ASAP Rocky shot him.
I know.
But I don't know if it was ASAP that shot him or not.
This is such a weird
I don't know if it was somebody in the crew or not.
Okay, but he was shot, and he tried to say it was ASAP.
Yes.
And then just so he could probably get paid.
Yes.
And he was found not guilty.
Yeah, he was found not guilty. Now, at first, he was offered 7 years probation, 180 days in prison if he had pled guilty. But when they said not guilty, he jumps the banister to go and hug Rihanna. Because he was so happy and she had, tears and everything. Yeah. Actually, it was a white lady who was standing right there. I don't know who she was, but he was like going like he was about to go and hug Rihanna, and the lady stood there, so he just kind of hugged her, spun her around, and then jumped over the banister into Rihanna's arms.
Aww,
so yeah,
they are so in love.
I know, right? I love that. Yeah. Another thing that happened is ICE allegedly targets immigrants that show up for check-ins and court dates. Yeah. So there's a video of a young lady with a bullhorn that's helping the immigrants to tell them to stay in their house. She's saying, stay in your house. Don't open the doors. You have the right to remain silent. You don't have to talk to these people. Oh, wow. And this was on TikTok. Now, the crazy thing is I saw this all over TikTok a few days ago. Now I can't find it on TikTok anywhere. The one video. So a video that I have is similar to it is this one. So, yeah, basically she was like, look, you don't have to open your door. You ain't got to talk to these people. Stay inside. Don't come out because ICE is out here waiting for you as soon as you step out of your apartment. There was a man who was inside of his apartment.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you just know where all the Hispanics hang out and live.
I could be literally a U.S. citizen Hispanic.
Oh, they don't care about that until they get you to Guantanamo Bay, and then I guess they still don't care then. Yeah. So, I mean, we had already talked about this before. They're picking up kids from school bus stops and things like that. So, yeah, they were telling people, don't go to work. Don't go to anywhere that you would normally go. Don't go. Stay at home, hunker down, basically be a squatter.
Good night.
And the thing that sucks about that is that now you can't have money to feed your family. A lot of these people have their money and they use it towards sending it back home to help their parents or things like that.
But if you're not working, you can't
do anything. So, this has just become a very big kerfuffle.
To some. And
to some,
others,
yes. Others,
it is
not,
the most amazing thing for some people.
Yeah, for right now, until you don't have anybody to work your dairy farm, or you don't have anybody to pick your broccoli.
Yeah.
Or your cabbage.
Or to do anything because of the fact that, people are just trying to work. They're trying to survive and paying their taxes. That's the crazy thing. You're acting like everybody is doing stuff under the table.
Well, they're paying their taxes.
It's ridiculous.
They are buying things in the United States. So it's I don't understand. Why don't you just tell these people, hey, we're going to go through this the right way. You need to learn this, this, and this, and this, and this, so you can become a U.S. citizen. Let's start doing classes. No, you're just going to get out of the country because you're here illegally. Yeah. Now, but the thing is that so people will come and visit, and they will have their visa, but then they get a job because you can get a visa for 3-6 months, and then you have to renew your visa. But if you have a job and you don't renew your visa, and you don't have the money to do that, then you're just going to stay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and then the White House, their page says that there's presidential actions of expanding Migrant Operations Center at the Naval Station of Guantanamo Bay, which is in Cuba. Mm-hmm. And then it's it says here, I hereby direct the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of Homeland Security to take all appropriate actions to expand the Migration Operations Center at the Naval Station Guantanamo Bay to full capacity to provide additional detention space for high priority criminal aliens unlawfully present in the United States to address attendant immigration enforcement needs identified by the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security. All of that was one sentence.
No, yeah, I believe that, yeah.
All of that was Anyway, so yeah, it's to restore national sovereignty and dismantle criminal cartels and border invaders. That's what it says on the
Now, so I just looked this up. So they want to expand Guantanamo Bay to hold as many as 30,000 people, although the current occupancy at Guantanamo Bay's low security migrant operations center is roughly 2,500.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they're just gonna have people stacked on top of each other.
Care. It's like slave ships.
Like animals.
Either. But yeah, and what's crazy to me is that we can't even freely travel to Cuba as Americans, but you can have a naval space there that you ship people to that you don't want to deal with in America. Yeah. Is kind of weird to me.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? This is America.
Yeah. And they're probably just leave them there and let them figure it out from Cuba. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know how the Cuban government feels about all of this. I probably need to research that. But yeah,
that'd be crazy if the Cuban government was like, we just welcome you all with open arms. Y'all just we're going to go and clear out the whole Guantanamo Bay. All of y'all people come into Cuba now. I really don't know anything about Cuba. But I mean, it sounds like it might not be bad compared to Guantanamo Bay.
I think that it is. It's very behind in regards to that's why you see all the cars and they can't use your credit card machines and the internet doesn't really work. So it's not.
That sounds actually nice.
I know it's so relaxing. And
that sounds like a vacation.
Do they have siestas? Because
can I take a nap in the middle of the day?
Yeah, sign me up.
Do I go work on a 1950s Cadillac?
Yeah.
And then go drink my, Cafe Bucelo.
Warm all the time.
And then take a nap, get up, and start all over again. See all the places that Celia Cruz has been. Mm-hmm. This sounds like a great vacation.
There's some merengue, some salsa, some butata. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, but
so maybe I need to do a vacation there. You have to go though with a visa that says it's for educational purposes or teaching visa, right? So you have to go saying that I'm going here because I want to be educated on the Cuban culture, and that's the only way to live.
But I would,
but you can't go without a visa.
I know, but I mean, that's why I would want to go.
That's why I want to go. I want the culture.
I feel like that's the piece. Is that not the reason why people go?
No, people go on vacation to places just to sit at a pool and never experience the culture whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
So some people are like that. We're different. We're different. We're different. But there are people who are like that. I want to be in the trenches.
Yeah, I want to embrace. Yeah, remember I told you I wanted to go to. I told you in the first episode I wanted to go to hang out with the cartels with Vice.
Yes, and that I said no.
I mean, that's I'm just going to be the press. I'm going to be part of the press. I'm not going to, I don't know. You might come back 5 years from now, and then next thing you know, I am leading the cartels, and I'm changing things. I don't know how it's going to work. It just could.
It could work. It could work. And hey, we would be here for all of your footage of what you came across. Exactly. I don't know if you'd make it out, but I don't know. But anyway, y'all, that is the end of this week's episode of
Sestra-Tainment.
Everybody have an amazing week. For those of you on the East Coast, try to be safe with the snow.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on over here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.